Awesome. Thank you for doing this. Much
No
appreciated.
worries, man. Sorry about the other day. Fucking uh, Ross Noble asked us to do 6 hours of 4 hours of coronation content, and he's just only in town. He's going to go back to the UK or some bullshit. So thanks for rescheduling.
Oh, absolutely. Easy. Anytime. Thank you.
No worries.
Well, how was the coronation? Was it good?
It was exactly well. People forget that its only purpose is to be a Protestant ceremony.
Yeah.
Everything being said is just to remind everyone that this is not a Catholic. We are not Catholics, and once you know that, you sort of go, oh, okay, it's sort of yeah. Anyway, it was ridiculous. It was fun, but whatever. Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you, Ed Cavalier, for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Yes, much appreciated. I can thank Jack for this one as well, I think.
Yes, it was a great episode. I've known Jack a long time, and I'm really happy that his podcast is going so well because that was always his passion. He would, even when we were working together, he would talk about true crime and one that he'd heard, and I do actually remember him mentioning once that he was thinking about sort of talking to prisoners or whatever. And anyone who knows me knows that I fucking hate true crime because the basic premise is as follows. And I'd love them to come on and argue with me, but the basic premise is, would you mind if we did a show about your family being murdered? There is no payment available. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that is the only business model that they have. And so that you get to a point where like Joel Edgerton and a couple of others are standing on the balcony at Venice Film Festival congratulating themselves for making The Stranger, while the family of the actual crime that took place said, A, we didn't know anything about it, and B, we don't want you to make this film, while Joel and his mates are holding awards going, look at us telling important stories. It's the single most ridiculous genre there is.
Yeah, it's very interesting, but he's doing very well with it, so it's good. It's his
Well, I've told
passion,
him
I
that.
suppose.
I said, but he always says that, which is true, which is the difference, is that these people know the deal and are telling their own stories.
Yeah.
So that was the wider point I wanted to make. The reason I quite like that is, I've got a 10-step plan if anyone wants it that I can email them of how to start a true crime podcast. And 5 of those points are don't pay the families of the people getting butchered.
Yeah, it was rough, but yeah. So anyway, so were born in Sydney originally.
I was born in Sydney, yeah, in North Sydney Hospital, and then my family or my mother moved. We moved to Brisbane,
Yep.
and then we moved back to Sydney,
Yep.
and then I've lived sort of at airports ever since. And yeah, that's the case. So I have a working knowledge of rugby league, Expo '88, and sort of 90s and 2000s Sydney-based culture.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So you went to, was it Sydney University, I think you went to?
So I went to Sydney University, did an arts degree, which is a 3-year degree, and I got it in only 5 years, which is record time, which is actually record time. I remember there was a bloke that we knew who was nervous. And we said, "What's wrong with what was wrong with ex bloke?" And they said, "Oh, he's been a bit upset. He's about to time out." I said, "What do you mean time out?" I said, "We've only got 10 years to do an arts degree, and he's on his ninth and a half year, and he's still got 2 credits to get." So he was always the clubhouse leader. But I believe he ended up with a PhD. We used to have these things at uni, at Sydney Uni, when we were in the Dramatic Society SUDS, which is, I honestly can't recommend highly enough. It's just such a great little incubator. So many good people have come from it. And are better than me, I mean. And there was a dude who was sort of tangentially involved, but he was more of a PhD student. And we used to have these parties in the inner west of Sydney called No Consequences parties. And they're exactly as they sound. And he rocked up once. This guy's a PhD student, mind you. It was a No Consequences party. And there was a knock on the door, and 2 of us who lived at the house opened it, and he was there in a pair of reading glasses, completely nude. He arrived in the nude. Here is a man dedicated to the idea of no consequences, and that man has a PhD. He is now Doctor something, something, something.
Well, doctors are always the wild ones.
Well, that was always the thing about the Med Review. The Med Review you'd go along to see, and the humour was so fucking dark because these people had seen everything. Their humour was like just bleak. They did I'll never forget it. They did a Tomb Raider sketch called Womb Raider, and I can't even I can't even describe what happened after that. And I remember you talk to them afterwards. You go, "What was going on with Womb Raider?" And they go, "Yeah. It was based on something that someone told us when they were into." And I go, "Yeah, but the rest of it was just like a shocking thing to happen." They're like, "Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Okay."
Oh, well, and they're the ones who save our lives.
I know. Hey, I'm more power to them.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so you studied at Sydney University, and that's how
It
you.
wasn't that I studied; it was that I was there. So two things took place while I was there. Theatre sports was massive when I first got there. The first day I got there, I went to watch theatre sports because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I went along. And Adam Spencer and Rob Carlton and Andrew O'Keefe, back when you used to be able to use his name, who I only knew as Beef O'Keefe before he had his troubles, and they were playing in a theatre sports team called Lick Me, I Know You're Dirty, and they were doing it at Manning Bar, and they were so funny. They were so quick and they were so funny. And I remember thinking, well, I don't know what I want to do with my life, but I sure as hell know I want to do this.
Yeah.
And that's how I got involved. And so Steen Raskopoulos, who is a great improviser and a great comedian, him and Carlo, his homeboy in the Bear Pack, just sold out the Enmore Theatre, 1,300 tickets, as well they should. The first time I ever saw Steen was when he was 16 years old. And his sister Jordan Raskopoulos was playing theatre sports with me. We went through together. And Jordan said, "Hey, can my brother come and get some stage time? He's in year 10." And he came along, and this is 600 students. We used to get 600 students in the bar every week for this free show. So imagine that on a Thursday. It was packed. And I'm there. I was host at this point. And he came out, this kid, 16 years old, no fear, nothing, no fear in him. And he was so funny and so great. And that's another great breeding ground. So you do these shows at Sydney Uni, like Sydney, get $300. So I'm jumping around, but you'd see the Dramatic Society, you get $300 to put on a show in a theatre. And you do it for 2 weeks, and some of them were shit. The best shit one I ever saw was, I had this really handsome friend called Pete Budnick. I'll use his full name because he's worth it. And god damn it, he's still handsome as the day is long, but fuck me, he was beautiful. Anyway, there was this girl that was in love with him, and you couldn't have him. No one could have him. I once witnessed at a party at my own house, mind you, a girl and Pete on the stairs, and as I walked past, the only thing I heard her say was, "Just Pete, just let me touch you once." That was actually what she said to him, and it was fair enough. And I was like, "Yep, that's the right thing to say." He was that beautiful. Anyway, this girl found a loophole. She wrote a play in order to get back at her ex-boyfriend who had just dumped her. She just wrote one in a week. It was amazing. It's called Are You Copenhagen? And what she decided to do was cast Pete as the lead male, in which she was literally tied to him for the entire play. So that on opening night, which I went to, her ex-boyfriend could be in the front row to watch this take place. But he trumped her because he rocked up with a box of chocolates and flowers and sat there with a gift for her. Now, these are just ridiculous student shenanigans. However, they forced us to do stage time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could bang on and on. The list is quite endless of the people that have come through it. But you made your mistakes in public. And that is just so invaluable. That's what stand-ups do. I'm not a stand-up, but stand-ups make their mistakes in public. Yeah. And that's why the good ones are so wonderful. And that's what this was like. And now I keep reading about how theatre sports is finished at uni, Manning Bar's closed. There is, luckily I actually, for other reasons, I had to catch up with a young bloke who was in the Dramatic Society at uni now. And he told me that it was still going, that they still got they got $400 now, and they were still putting on weird shows. Yeah. And he described something he was in, and it sounded shit. And I was like, that sounds fucking terrible. And he said it was, but we learnt from it. And I said, that's exactly the point. And that is just the best. I cannot recommend that highly enough for people, because these days, everyone now just sort of gets TikTok and says, here's a hack from the gym that they're not going to tell you. That is shit content. Yeah. People keep telling me that TikTok is good. It isn't. If I'll go, all right, tell me now, what's the best TikTok you've ever seen?
I don't know, probably chicks jumping into bikinis.
But do you see what I mean? You can't even remember which one.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if I ask people to say, what's the best TikTok you've ever seen? They do this, they raise their brow. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like asking people what the best KFC chip they ever had was. They know that the general flavor is sort of something they like, but fuck me if they can remember anything that ever took place.
Now, speaking of KFC, was that your first television gig?
The ad.
Yeah, I did see the ad the other day.
Oh, you see, it's back up on YouTube, is it?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, it gets taken down occasionally just for my haircut, but it so that was Gus and Dave. So I'm at uni, right, and I couldn't get an agent because I didn't have any proper acting training until I went to Screenwise, which is in Sydney, which is a great place to go. Blah blah blah, whatever. Great people. Denise is legend. So I couldn't get an agent. However, my friend Denise, who ran Screenwise, she said, "I think you've got something." So she sent me to an audition for Blue Heelers, and I'll never forget what they said to me. I had to pay a policeman standing by the bed of someone who had been caught for trying to blow up something at the police station, right? Which happened every 3 weeks in Blue Heelers. It happened so much that my friend Rob Carlton has been cast as two separate people to do it with just a different haircut. Finally, he said to them, I might have to do a New Zealand accent here. Otherwise, I just look like the same lunatic rocking up who gets his hair dyed and then tries it again. Anyway, so I did an audition for that. I was playing a policeman. Now, I look like a policeman. That is a fair assessment of my general look. You know what I mean? Sort of clean-cut, unremarkable brunette man. Tall. That's the look the police want, right? So I did the audition, and they go, okay, thanks. This was at Mulliners, which is no longer where it is in Sydney. And I said, all right, how'd I go? They go, yeah, good. I go, actually, it's my first audition I've ever had. I need to learn. Could you be honest with me? This was back in the days of camcorders. And the bloke said, really? I said, yep. And he turned off the camcorder. I thought, fuck. And he goes, now listen to me. You're not handsome enough to play a leading man, but you're also not sinister and odd enough to play bad guys. Have you thought about comedy? And I said, yep, thank you. Fantastic advice. Fantastic advice. And so then I said, okay. So then I went back. I was the reader opposite people in audition. So I would see people audition. So I've been opposite people, and I don't know why I'm still not allowed to say it. It's quite odd, but I've been opposite people in Australia that have booked quite big American jobs. And I can honestly tell you, it's a fucking lottery. Yeah. I would see people come in and do an audition, and I'd be like, I'd turn around to the casting people at Morafay, and I'd go, well, they've got the job. And they'd go, yeah, that was unbelievable. And then someone else would come in, sort of read off the script, and they'd leave, and I'd go, ugh. And casting agent would say, I don't know. And honestly, sometimes the fucking couldn't be fucked person would get this big American job, and other times you'd get somebody who was absolutely through the roof. So it just always reminded me, I was like, oh, this is a luck game. That's what made me stop wanting to be an actor, where I was like, oh, I see. Yeah. If this was a meritocracy, and I'm shit, but if this was a meritocracy, there are brilliant people who get to the top. Don't get me wrong. But there's also just a lot of fucking mediocre. You got the right eyebrows. You got the right. That's the vagaries of it, which is fair enough. Whatever. It's not a meritocracy. Let's not pretend it is. But they said to me, "Oh, this is KFC thing for two weirdos who live in a caravan inside the car park of a KFC. We think you'd be perfect for it." And I didn't do anything. I just said the lines, and people were like, "Yes, what a freak!" And honestly, I'm like, "Really? I'm not trying to be odd over here. I'm just trying to be enthusiastic about the zinger, about the Works burger." So I did the job. Then I got the job with my life changed when I got the job with Tony Martin on Get This. But fucking Tony started banging on about how I wasn't actually eating the burger. You can't eat the burger. You're there all day, and if you chomp the burger, it fucks up the back of the burger, which is what the camera sees.
Yeah.
So you have to mind eating the burger. Oh, but he kept saying it. So KFC pulled the ad, and my agent, who I just got, was like, "What the fuck are you doing? You can't go on radio and say that you're not eating the fucking burgers in the ad." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's Tony's fault. He's an asshole." Years later, the guy I was in the ad with, who's a very good actor and director in his own right, he's now gone on to make feature films.
Yeah.
He was living in LA, but he just got there. So he was starting out. He was working in a bar, didn't have anything, but I was working on a couple of things. Get a call. I was sort of starting to be Ed Cavalier, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And they said, "Oh, KFC want to replay the ad." What do you mean they want to replay? I said, what do you mean they want to replay the ad? Oh, the Works Burger's coming back out again. They want to replay your ad. I said, what? With me as me now, not just as a guy who lives in a caravan. And they're like, no, with the knowledge that you're you as you and whatever. This is how much they're going to pay. And I'm an idiot. And I just go, no, fuck them. No. I mean, now with 2 children, I'd be like, yes, please. And so I go, nah. All right, I get a Facebook message from the other dude in the ad. Mate, I'm living on a couch over here. I was counting on that cash. I felt so bad.
Oh,
It was too late. They'd reshot something else. I'm sorry, bro. But anyway, but yeah, so short answer, yeah. No, it was actually my second job. My first job, I played Chandler in an ad for a friend's ripoff for Pizza Hut in Japan. And the whole premise of the ad was that I came home, saw pizza, and then kissed the handsome bloke that was playing Joey. That was it. There was nothing else in this ad.
yeah.
That was it. I reckon we did about 40 takes, and every time I went and kissed this bloke, kissed him, and we sort of fell back on the couch. The 2 blokes from Pizza Hut or Domino's Japan, I can't remember which one it was now. I've never seen people laugh harder in their life. Every time they laughed as hard as the first time. I've never been able to get hold of the ad.
Oh, yeah, right.
Actually, I'm starting to think it wasn't for an ad at all, but anyway, who cares?
Did it even air?
Yeah, did it even air? Did they even have any film in that camera?
Nah, that's cool. That's cool. But then, so like, is that how you then got into radio? Because you're acting, you didn't.
No. I was a reader at auditions for Boytown, Mick Malloy's film. My friend Josh got a role in it, Josh Lawson. And Mick heard my side of the tape and said, that guy seems all right, turn the camera around. That's how I got that. And it was at the party for Boytown that I met Tony. Tony said to me, you're in that movie, you did a good job. I said, thanks, Tony. Tony was one of my heroes, so is Mick, still are. And he said to me, what do you normally do? I said, I drive the Black Thunders and for Today FM and Triple M. And I work in a video shop back when there was such a thing. And he said, video shop? What's your favourite movie? And I said, With Nail and I, which is a small British comedy from 1982 with how Richard E. Grant got started. And he was like, what? Because I was 24. He's like, why is that your favourite movie? And I said, I don't know. Because I worked at this video store since I was 14. So I'd fucking seen everything. By the time I was 24, I'd seen fucking everything twice. So, and that's how he just said, oh. And I didn't hear anything. And he just rang me. My boss rang me from the radio station and said, you know, we've been trying to think about finding you a way to get on air. And I'm like, no. You mean how I normally just drive you to the airport and hand out Coke? And he goes, oh, yeah, Tony's been looking for someone. And I was like, really? And that was it. I got the job with Tony, and I've told that story many times. He didn't know how to panel, but then he kept me on. And that was it.
Bang, straight on. And you haven't looked back since?
I haven't looked back, but I don't know. I've been thinking about this a lot recently. I was thinking about because I met this young fella for something that we're working on, and he's exactly where I was.
Yeah.
Same age, same place. He's much sort of, more talented than I was, and I thought, and he said to me, he was sort of asking me things, and I said, I thought about it, and I was like, no, I actually think that everyone would do things differently. Of course they would, but I look at Broden Kelly from Auntie Donna, or Tony, or Husey, or even Mick and etc. and Working Dog and those people, and I just look at their work rate and output and confidence in their angle, and I think that is something that I haven't done well as yet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Have I physically been present at jobs? Yes. And am I eternally grateful for those things? Most certainly.
Yeah.
But outside that, I have always been very, very lucky to be helped by the agency of others who have put faith in me, and I am always grateful and acknowledge that those things are how I am, for the most part, where I am at this point.
Yeah, awesome. That's good. So then, you've been on radio.
Yeah.
Have you been paying attention? Is where I first became a fan of yours.
Yep.
And that would you say that's your main?
Yeah, radio and that, absolutely, because that show literally started in an office at Working Dog with me and Pang making stupid dances, and Tommy asking questions and us hitting a pen on a mug.
Yeah, right.
And then Rob said, I think there's a TV show in that. And I said, in what, Rob? And he said, in that quiz. I said, which bit? But that's why they're them, because they can then go, oh no, trust me. And before you know it, you're sitting on the set with the buzzer and you go, oh, this is nice.
No, it's a very good show. Me and my partner watch it every week. That's our thing.
People always ask me, like, they say, oh, you win. The first thing I say is always, these are the dumbest people ever assembled. Like, this is not a difficult victory. But also, you got to remember that, like, we cut out the stuff that it's not much, but sometimes Tom will ask a question. I have not a clue what he's talking about. So I can't think of a joke. No one can.
Yeah.
We all just stare at him and just cut it out.
Yeah.
And that happens because it happens. You can't tell. That happens. Sometimes, and even afterwards, I go, "What the fuck was that question?" And he'll say, "Oh yeah, something happened." And you're like, Jesus, that was me, bro. I remember there was a death last year. I can't remember who it was, but someone had died. Tom asked this question. Not a clue. I thought they was kidding. I was like, hey, hang on, is he serious? Oh shit. Anyone? No. First we'd heard of it.
Yeah, right. Hectic. No, you think so quick, like you're so quick-witted. So how?
Radio. So
It's
radio,
like you've always done it?
well, Impro teaches you to listen,
Yeah.
and there's this great exercise that every single person can do in order to make themselves 50% funnier and 50% more interesting in conversations and 50% better at conversation in general. And it's very, very simple. We can do it now. So if I said to you, where is a place in the world you'd like to go?
Dubai.
Next choice.
Scotland.
Next choice.
Iceland.
Next choice.
USA.
Great. So see how your mind starts to change the way it thinks about things?
Yeah.
That. The next choice after the first choice is often interesting. The choice after the choice is often the most interesting. The most interesting choice out of that lot was Iceland.
Yeah.
But you got there by shifting Dubai and the other one out of and then your mind kicked back in and you went, no, hang on a sec, USA. So that is something that people can do every day of the week. And Impro teaches you to do that sift in a microsecond. So you know in the Matrix where when they go into with Morpheus and they're choosing the weapons and all the weapons come flying in and they have a look at them.
I haven't seen the Matrix.
All right. Well, there's a bit in the Matrix where he has to choose a weapon, and I think thousands of weapons just come flying out of nowhere for him to choose.
Yep.
Keanu Reeves.
Yep.
That's what that process is like. Your mind starts to just offer you up 5 different things, and you pick the funniest one, and you say it, and you keep moving, and you don't even think about it.
Well, there you go, eh? So you've done have you been paying attention? Thank God your hair's coming back.
Most certainly is.
That's exciting. Is that this year that's going to be back or next year?
It is this year it will be back, yes.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm sure you can't say too much yet. Soccer, football, World Cup. I saw you had a show with that one. And you're a crazy soccer tragic, I've seen you describe yourself as.
So when I was growing up in Sydney, my friend Michael Luciano was an Italian guy. He was into soccer. He was into Inter Milan.
Yeah.
So I went, I'll be into soccer. I'll be into Inter Milan. And I went and saw them play when I was in high school, and I've been into it ever since. I like rugby league. I like AFL. I love soccer. And something funny's happening with soccer where all of the commentary, yesterday, Ange Postecoglou won the Scottish League with Celtic, Australian coach.
Yep. This
is an Australian man. This man played for Australia. His heritage is Greek. We accept that. But the fucking BBC go, but Ange Postecoglou, from the boy from Greece who's something, they just can't do it.
Yeah.
The soccer media, the English soccer media, is so populated by fucking posh wankers who just can't bear it. Because if they allow Australia to have any foothold at all,
yep,
all their little house of cards is over. Because it means that they no longer, it's like the last vestige of the empire is taking place in soccer media. Because as long as they can control what thoughts need to be given and what opinions are allowed to be had, that's why they're so anti the Super League. They all crap on about how they worry about what's going to happen to Burnley. These people can give a flying fuck what happened to Burnley. They fucking went to Oxford. They couldn't give a fucking shit.
Yeah.
What they care about is the idea that they can't then dispense knowledge from on high.
Yeah.
So that is something that even in here in Australia, Santo and myself and the others have always just tried to have some fun with the game and muck around with it, because you never want to get into that. Well, if we just look here on the, because even if you do it, even if you do things that way, at some point you're going to butt up against, but that guy with an accent, that guy's got an accent. Maybe he could do it better.
Yeah, that's no good. But yeah, your World Cup show was very good. Was enjoyable.
Which we will do again at some point. Yeah. We will do that again at some point.
No, it was good. It was because
we were going to do. We were thinking about doing one with guitar, but we ran into some of the funniest double talk you'll ever heard in your life. We had a chat with a broadcaster that was so riddled with bizarre contradictions that we got off the phone and went, how the hell? That's the joke. The joke was that meeting, which you can't play. So we better not do it.
Hopefully the next one.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
So you're also undercover ripped up.
Well, at the moment, I've got a bulging disc in my neck, and I had a parasite in my bowel, and so I haven't been in this bad a shape for 15 years, and I'd be lying if I said it hasn't affected me. But slowly but surely, I'm sort of building myself back up, because when your work's in your head, I find that the physicality for me is just going and working out and doing something else. I just enjoy it. And I have no vices. I'm an intensely uninteresting individual. So it's a place for me just to go, and I just like it. I don't know what it is. It's just something. As soon as I did it at Sydney Uni, actually, I just thought, oh, this has got a different feel to it. I hate saying that because there are people right now doing proper jobs outside. Luke Heggie has a great joke. Yeah. You know, he worked on building sites for years. This is Luke Heggie's joke, and Luke Heggie is a genius. This is not, I'm telling you to go and watch his special on YouTube because it's the best. So this is not me I'm not stealing Luke's joke. This is Luke's joke, and I'll butcher it. But the premise is he works on building sites. He says, I don't go to gyms because on building sites, nobody screams when they have to pick up something heavy. So I just, and it's,
that's true.
So I take the point that there are people who lift things, professionally.
But so it all started from when your wife Tiffany Hall, who was on.
She would say that, but no. So her attitude is always that she started it. No, she most certainly did not. It actually started because of the World Cup show. I was doing breakfast radio and I was doing the World Cup show. I was getting home at 10 o'clock at night, and I was eating like a maniac. I got to 108 kilos and I just felt terrible. For me, it's just weight. I was like, and so I thought, I'd just done it at uni, stopped, and then thought, no, hang on, what are you doing? I looked ahead. And also I thought, if I'm going to do breakfast radio, I looked ahead and there were some very unhealthy people doing it. Yep. And I thought, because I didn't drink, I thought, I actually don't really have much reason not to be fit. So I just did it.
Right. Because I saw that after your firstborn, I think it was, you had the photo posted where you...
Oh, is that with that in the pool?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my wife's doing, and The Rock. But then The Rock liked it and put it, and I was like, well, because I remember when I was in LA for a little while. So I was at a gym once. We're at this gym, and Ash Williams tells this story because it's more his life. So here's some of on one day. Here's the people that were at Equinox West Hollywood: Jodie Foster, Cameron Diaz, Dave Navarro, Fabio, Paulie Shaw, Kevin Connolly this is one day, like at 10 a.m., right? Kevin Connolly from Entourage, Dave Navarro, and Fred Durst, lead singer of Limp Bizkit. That's 10 a.m. on a Wednesday at this place. Everyone's ignoring them, doing the right thing, except Fabio. People just talk to Fabio and he loves it. While he's doing seated row, while he's working out, he somehow still finds ways to shake people's hands and go, "How you doing, bro? Looking good." It's the best. Anyway, we go downstairs. There's two people whose job is to wipe the mirrors. I'm like, why the mirror wipers? So, in the NBA, when someone on the floor, they run out, they do the floor real quick. The Rock was working out, getting ready for a movie. He was doing shoulder press so heavy and so hard that he was sitting in front of it and the mirror was fogging up.
Hectic.
It was a sight to behold. I'm almost certain that they just paid him to come and work out, because anyway,
they probably would.
Well, I was like, yeah, if they gave Mark Wahlberg a share of what was it? The Jeter gyms or something? Anyway, whatever.
F45 or something.
Yeah, one of the ones that went broke.
Yeah, well, could be a reason for that. But yeah, so then you've become the cover of Men's Health.
Tiff said to me, they wanted to have a couple on the cover of Men's Health and Women's Health. They wanted to have a pregnant woman on the cover of Women's Health. And they said, if Ed will do Men's Health and you do Women's Health, that will be like a first. And I finally acquiesced. I've been asked a few times. And I finally said, do you know what? Who gives a shit? Like, just do it. And we did it. And it was, I don't know, fun's not the right word. It was, how do I put this? A real letdown. Because you want like fucking chicks to slide into your DMs and be like, don't worry about her. Like, like come with me. Like, look at these. You know what I mean? Like, come on, baby, let's go to fucking Capri. Like, no one needs to know. And it just doesn't. I just don't get them. No. I don't know what do I have to do to get some DMs go. Like, I don't even say it's so. I don't even know what an illicit DM looks like. Yeah. I wouldn't even know it if I got one. It's tragic.
Oh, well, that's a good accomplishment, though.
No, it's not. It's not. Because the only point is to get, hey, baby, no one needs to know, or like, cool, look good. I don't even know what how do you, so what is the point of this podcast? What are you trying to do?
Me?
Yeah. What do you want to do with your life?
At the moment, I'm not too sure. But
what do you think the answer is?
Well, the aim of the podcast is just meeting interesting people and talking to people from different walks of life. Like I've had a vet from LA who helps the homeless people. He's got his own TV show on Netflix.
Yep.
Footy players.
Which one?
I'm Jamie Soward. He's one of my best friends.
I know Jamie Soward. I know exactly who that is. So where do you know? So are you from Penrith?
I'm not from Penrith. I live on the Gold Coast, but I used to work in Penrith.
Did you?
Yeah, for 4 years. I actually met Jamie at the pub that I was working at.
Really? Which one?
The Overlander.
Overlander, what's that?
Cambridge Gardens.
Oh, right. Yeah, so then what?
I don't know.
So what does episode 1000 look like?
Hopefully me on my farm interviewing people.
Oh, yeah, a farm?
Eventually, yeah. We're on the Gold Coast at the moment, so the goal
What type of farm?
A rescue farm. A sanctuary.
But do you need money for that?
Yeah, eventually. A bit more. A little bit.
How much money? Okay, how much money does a sanctuary farm? Because don't these motherfuckers eat a lot of food and stuff?
Yeah. To start up, probably a mil. Yeah. A mil to start up.
How much to run per year?
Don't know yet. I'll get back to you on that one when I get to it.
Doesn't John Stewart have one of them?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
I think John Stewart has a sanctuary.
Yeah, just a couple of horses, some pigs.
Just two?
No, like obviously more, but
how many horses?
Pigs, cows.
That sounds like fun.
Probably 4 horses. Enough for the whole family to ride.
It's a great idea. Bit of trail riding.
But at the moment, we go traveling at the end of the year. We're going to Scotland and Iceland.
You are going to Iceland?
Yeah.
So when I asked you before, it was like something you're already doing.
Well, I want to.
What?
Well, I'm going.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I haven't been yet.
I mean, you booked it.
Yeah, but haven't been yet.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, going traveling for a bit, come back and.
So do you have who is the family?
Me and my partner.
2 children?
No children. 2 dogs, 2 Dalmatians.
2 Dalmatians.
Kids hopefully next year.
Woo! Jesus.
Yeah. So just Janelle and I at the moment.
And do you have a day job?
2.
What are your day jobs?
I work for an online bookie.
Like a PointsBet.
Similar, yeah, but not PointsBet. A bet on PointsBet.
Yeah.
And security.
So what do you do for the online bookie?
Customer service, customer relations. Talk to people, take bets.
Oh, you talk to people?
Yeah, on the phone. Like if you want to bet on
the
AFL live, you can call me up and I'll put your bet on.
How do you take the payment?
It's already in their account. Oh, you don't gamble, do you? So it's like you've got an account like on your app, and then you just call up and.
No, I don't gamble.
Yeah, give me your account number and I put it straight on.
Of all of the vices, I reckon that one would be the most enticing for me.
Gambling.
Oh yeah.
It's yeah.
I had one. I do one a year. I do over unders on the NBA, so I can be $40 per one, $200 total or something. So with a mate, so that you're in every game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not bad value. $200 for a year's worth of what I call entertainment, and if I get a return, I get a return. It's not a bad investment. It's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's fun. It's something different.
Yeah, it is.
Like I get to work.
A mate of mine works for he's the head of operations for an online. I'm going to get this right one day. A series of online casinos.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Drives a really nice car and spends most of his days playing beach volleyball.
Yeah, I bet he does.
I said, "What do you do all day?" He goes, "I run the operations." I'm like, "From here? You've had 6 games of beach volleyball today."
Half his luck.
Yeah.
It's something different. It's good though. Like I don't know if you know the Gold Coast at all, but
I most certainly do.
Okay. Well, do you know Northern New South Wales?
Yes.
Okay. So one of our offices are at the racetrack at Moolumbar, so we spend a lot of time there.
Interesting.
But it's my hometown where I grew up, so
righto. So you're well versed.
So it's not so much fun.
That's right.
But,
righto, good.
But yeah, who knows? We'll figure it out. I'm not 30 yet, so I'm not stressed.
Nah, don't worry about it. I guess.
But not talking about me. We're talking about you. You have written 2 kids' books.
I just finished the 3rd, so Jack will be illustrating that.
Yep.
And I put the money in. It's a classic. There was a comedian at the comedy festival who she said, "Oh, I've turned 40 now, so if this comedy thing doesn't work out, I can do what every person does, every celebrity does, and write a kid's fart book," which is true, except that she's not a celebrity, so no one would commission her to write that book. So you know what I mean? The logic of the joke is flawed. Yeah, and the joke of my joke is because I wrote our first book, A First Time for Everything, with my wife, which is about the first year of a kid's life. Then they came back to us, "Do you want to write another book?" And I said, "No, I was unhappy with the creative partnership." So I ditched my wife and wrote it with my 4-year-old son because I've never seen a fart book written by a child that's their humor, because the syntax is so weird. The way that he writes a joke is so strange, and I just was proud of him to write. He wrote some jokes, and I was like, "That's a joke. That's an actual joke that you just wrote." And I've made a disgusting rod for my own back because all he talks about is farts and bums. And every time I say anything, he just says, "But Daddy, don't we write fart books?" And I'm like, you don't see this in Succession. This is a genuine issue. So, but that money has gone into some Vanguard index funds for the kids. So the third one has been co-written with my 1-year-old daughter, and so that becomes her one. Yeah, so that's my excuse.
That's cool. That is real cool. And you came 4th on Dancing with the Stars,
which is rigged.
Yes.
So Celia, my great friend and very funny comedian, she worked out early that you can't just be funny. You got to get a bit of sob in there. You got to get a bit serious, or I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So Seals won. I love Celia. I'm a much better dancer than she is. Christian Wilkins, great friend of mine. We shared a dressing room. If you've ever shared a dressing room with Travis Cloke, Bo Ryan, and Christian Wilkins, you truly know what men who refuse to wear clothing truly is. Never have you seen men. It's like their clothes dissolved on impact. They would walk into a room and it was like their clothes had evaporated, and the 3 of them would just be there in their jocks, like they're magicians.
Footy players' dressing room.
But Christian's not a fucking. Where did Wilkins learn that? Anyway, so
hanging out with footy players.
Maybe, yes. But Christian will be he's not a bad dancer, but they will all be the first to admit that I was the best dancer, and I stand by that.
So it is rigged.
It was rigged.
Hey, where's your sob story?
I don't. I've got one, but I can't be asked using it. Do they?
Fair. So apart from radio, TV, Dancing with the Stars, some podcasts, Team Effort, I believe one is called.
Mm.
Is that still running?
Yeah, so that's me, Tony Martin, Ash Williams, Jay Mueller, and whoever else.
Yeah.
The premise was that it's like a fake self-help podcast, but it's just an excuse to hang out with Tony. It's the only reason I do it, so I can make sure I have a regular excuse to hang out with Tony, and that is literally the only reason it exists. Also, as this comes out, Ross Noble, which I do a podcast with, he kept touring and stuff like that because after the pandemic, Noble went back out on tour. Called me up the night after the royal coronation, and he goes, oh, maybe we could do a podcast about it. And I was like, oh yeah, what do you mean? No, what Ross meant was that we would sit in a room and commentate the whole damn thing. So there's 3 hours of that content, which has just gone out. Beautiful. But I love it. I love a podcast. What are your 3 favorite podcasts? Go.
My 3 favorite. Full Send.
What's that?
It's by a group of boys in America, Nelk Boys.
And what are they about? What's it about?
They kind of got famous just for partying and that sort of stuff, but they speak to a lot of interesting different people. Like they've had Trump on there twice.
Right.
Elon Musk, like those sort of people. Yeah, they've.
Okay, so Full Send. Okay, so there's a lot of them. Full Send. Is it the Full Send podcast or Full Send exclamation point?
Full Send podcast.
Great. Okay, excellent. Good. I'll listen to that. Yep, keep going.
I listen to Raw Talk, which is a fitness one.
Is it raw as in a lion or as in?
Raw as in RAW, raw meat.
Here we go. Raw Talk. Bradley Martin.
Yep, that's the one.
Okay, let's see what they're on about.
That's like
is it UFC?
No, it's like just fitness kind of stuff. Interviews with different people.
Great. Yep. Okay. Good. Yep. See, this is the reason. If you want to here's the modern way to get to know someone. The easiest way to get to know someone. 2 simple questions. Tell me your top 3 favorite podcasts, and tell me your top 3 YouTube deep dives. Recent YouTube deep dives. We'll get to those in a second. Okay. So Raw Talk, Full Send. I'm writing these down. Yep. Raw Talk, Full Send, and.
I want to say 1 minute remaining for our friend Jack.
Is it?
I listened to it, but I'd say You Never Know.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, as in YA.
Oh God. Yep. You never.
No.
Are the rest of the words spelled correctly?
No, never's NEVA.
Okay. Why would they be? Right. Yeah, never know. Okay, so Mike. By my other name of Mike.
Yeah.
And what does Mike do?
Mike's kind of self-help without being so down your throat self-help.
Yeah, never.
Talks to a lot of like baseball players from America.
Okay. And has he been cancelled for anything?
No.
Okay.
Failed.
He was a baseballer, was he?
A failed baseballer.
Oh, like Billy Bean.
Turned rapper, but not a rapper.
A fake rapper?
Well, he's white.
It's always tough. It's always tough. All right, that's a good. Okay, that's great. Now YouTube, let's go. Last 3 YouTube deep dives. Number 1.
Do you want to know what my last 3 searches were?
Yes.
Okay. Ed Cavalier.
Good.
Morgan Wallen.
Who's that? Oh, the country singer.
Yep.
Why? Because you get told you look like him, or because you like the music?
I like the music. I get told I look like Luke Combs all the time.
That's the one I meant. Yep. Thank you. Why did he do Fast Car?
That's good though. It was one of his dad used to play it for him on the guitar when he was growing up.
Good angle.
Yeah.
Yep. Good angle. And no one can check. Yep. Keep going. Yep.
Cody Trains. Cody Ko, the comedian.
KO?
Yeah.
Cody Ko with KO, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
See? I already learned. See? Well, that's all I need to know. That's everything I need to know about you. Those 3 podcasts and those 3 YouTube deep dives, apart from the first one, everything that you would ever need to know about someone.
Well, there you go.
It's a shortcut for getting to know anyone you ever want to get to know.
Well, then what are your 3 YouTube searches?
My last 3 are Lego Soldiers, because my son, he's 5 and he's into Lego and he's also into the military.
Yep.
And I said to him, he wants to watch Lego. People make stop motion animation Lego films.
Yep.
And I said, that's fine, but we're only watching ones that are based on actual historical battles, so that we can try and get some learning in as well.
Yep.
So we watched that. D-Day, he really enjoyed the one on D-Day. That was a lot of fun. And he's into ancient Rome at the moment. Yeah, so he's like, he keeps asking, so the ancient Rome, Daddy, what happened? I'm like, Jesus. Well, they expanded too much, and then Caesar's senators turned on him. Why, Daddy? I'm like, Jesus. God fucking sake. Well, they thought, what's good about it is, I set myself a task, right, when I had my son and now my daughter, to never say, to get to the end of their lines of insane questioning and say, I don't know. No. I will chase their logic until I have to learn about it and send it back and so I can learn some knowledge on the back end of it. And I don't know anything about parenting, but that has been I read that somewhere actually, and I remember thinking, good, and I've been doing that. And maybe Hamish told me it, but it's a fucking belter. That's cool. So good. Trauma Zone, you would love this. So there's an English guy called Adam Curtis.
Yep.
Do you know him?
Nope.
You'd love it. So, because he works at the BBC.
I'll write it down.
Ready? Adam Curtis, write this. Can't get you outer, spelled outer, as in Outer Compton, my head. Not the Kylie song. The 6 1-hour from last year documentaries, an emotional history of the 20th century. So it's the history of the 20th century told through individuals. Okay. However, the way that Adam Curtis does things is because he works for the BBC, he has access to every piece of archival footage ever shot. He also has, because it's the BBC, access to every piece of music ever played. And because he's a former journalist, rock journalist, and television segment producer, which is key, so he knows what people actually want to watch, he puts together these documentaries in a cupboard by himself in the BBC. Really? You will love it.
Right, done.
So he did one after that, which you meant to watch after that one, called Trauma Zone, which is about the fall of the rise, the fall of communism, and then the rise and fall of democracy in Russia. No voiceover, just archival footage. 10,000 hours the BBC shot, and no one bothered to look at it until he had a look. It's a fucking belter. It's really, really good. That's one. Oh, no, that's two. And then, well, this doesn't count. Jerry Springer's Best Fights, because that's because he died.
Yeah. Fair.
Right. And just some absolute beauties. Some fucking beauties. People who just come out ready to swing. Yeah. And then, oh no, this is terrible. Nah. Fuck. Zapruder Film Mystery.
Zapruder Film?
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh, this is JFK, shot in the head.
Oh, okay. So JFK's on stuff.
Yeah. Zapruder's the guy who shot the home video.
And
really? Yeah. I'm a big JFK guy. And that was, and I heard on a crazy podcast someone mention it. I was like, oh, I've never seen that. So I went on YouTube to watch it. Ooh, fuck. Even for me, I was like, Jesus Christ, it's a bit, we're really in a rabbit hole here. So that's it. Now, podcasts, I'll ask myself the same question.
What are your top 3 podcasts?
At the moment? Now, what speed do you listen to?
Regular.
What a rookie.
But I drive for an hour to work.
So you get 2 in that way. 1.5. What are you doing?
True. All right, I'll try it. Life advice.
Rest is history. It's compulsory listening.
Okay. Rest is history.
Yep. The bloke who wrote Dominion. Ever read Dominion about Christianity?
I haven't. But
fucking hell. What a book. So him and his mate. So that's compulsory listening. The rest is history. Bill Simmons, but that doesn't count because everyone listens to that. So let's leave that one there. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I take that as given. Yeah.
Yep.
That's fair, isn't it? Ross Noble podcast, because I had to check the audio on the 6 fucking hours he made us do. So.
Yep. Fair.
Yeah. And now I'm just going through because I've got all that thing. I've got to unfollow a bunch of shows that, and then what's my other? Oh, I hate their fucking reenactments. They're dickheads. Sizzletown, Tony's show.
Sizzletown. I haven't listened.
Tony Martin show.
Right.
Go back and listen from a while ago.
Okay. All right, I'll give it a listen tomorrow morning on my way.
And audiobooks. What are you listening to?
Oh, this will be a good one. Where's my thing? I just finished Matthew McConaughey's book.
Green Lights.
Yeah.
So I listened to that on times 2. Fuck, that guy talks slow. And what was your favorite one takeaway that you had, what would it be?
Don't take life too seriously. I liked about his time.
Which is ironic coming from him. I've interviewed him. You've never seen a more fucking touchy, self-absorbed, fucking... It's unbelievable. I played a grab from his book, but I forgot that I'd left it on 1.5 because I was just sending it to my audio producer, and he got so angry. You've sped me up. I'm like, hey, shithead, I just listened to 6.5 hours of you fucking crap on about yourself, and you fucking get the shits at 1.5? Yeah, fuck off. It's not fucking Handel. You're not playing Handel's fucking music. It's not Beethoven's Fifth. I think a little bit of pace is okay, buddy.
Like, I thought he'd be all right.
Nah, the opposite.
Yeah.
So the only good bit, it was all right, but the bit that I really liked was when he Dazed and Confused. You ever seen that?
Don't think so.
Go and watch it. So it's about an obsession of that people have for 20 years earlier. So Chuck Klosterman's book, The 90s, touches on it, about how every generation is obsessed with things that happened 20 years before it, and that's why people are dressing like they're in the 90s now. I mean, you see, anyway, whatever. It normally holds true, and that movie, Dazed and Confused, is about the obsession with 20 years ago and how stupid it was, but people took it the wrong way. It's about the 70s, and he thought that Richard Linklater was like, yeah, everyone's going to be like the 70s were a waste of time. The movie came out and I was like, aren't the 70s great? It led to a revival. But his book, The 90s, is really good. Chuck Klosterman's book, The 90s, very good.
Nice. Sweet. All right. Well, I wrote that movie down, but I just started listening to Tough by Terry Crews.
By Terry Crews. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, I'll write that down. The Colouring Book, Colin Quinn. Colin Quinn's from a few years ago now. The opening line is, a comedian tries to solve race relations in America. Yeah, that's really good. And what do you know about Alan Partridge?
Nothing.
No. Well, start with This Time. So Alan Partridge, This Time. No, Mid Morning Matters. Alan Partridge, Mid Morning Matters. He's a fake DJ from the UK. The character's been going 40 years. That's how funny it is.
Alrighty. Mid Morning Matters.
Yeah.
Done. Saved. That one's the book as well, yeah?
No, then it'll get you into the books. That's how you watch it. That's how you learn to appreciate Alan.
Okay, perfect. Done.
God, what a good time.
Written down. I've also got the Friends book bookmarked, ready to go.
Which one?
The Matthew Perry one. Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible.
Why do you care about that?
What? Matthew Perry?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Friends is kind of like a comfort show to me.
Yes. And that's interesting because Chuck covers that in the 90s. The reason that it still works, he puts forward, and I agree with him, is because it could be any time in the world. It could be anywhere in the world. It could be any time in the world. No coffee shop looks like that. No apartment looks like that. Nobody talks like that. Yeah. So it could be any time. It's never going to date. It's never going to date. Yeah, it just goes forever.
And I've watched it from 1 to 10 so many times.
It's eternal.
My missus knows if I'm in a bad mood.
Mate, it's eternal. It's eternal. Yeah. I don't know how they did it, but it's fucking eternal.
That's good. It's definitely good. Oh, well. Do you have anything happening this year? Anything exciting?
Yeah. So we did a live show at the Comedy Festival of a movie that I wrote about radio called Team Effort Movie. Yep. And we're hoping to do more of that. So that hopefully is going to be used there. So we do this thing called compliance training, where you go and you sit in a room and the lawyers say, all right, here are the things that happened last year that you're not meant to say on radio, and they play you clips of shit that people have said that they're not meant to say. The point's meant to be don't do this, but it's hilarious. It's always the best day of the year. And I've been doing it, and for 12 years I've been taking notes, and I took every single thing that has been said over that journey, and I put it into the mouth of one character.
Oh, no.
And only because the guy who features more than anyone else, every year he's on there. Every single year. Same bloke. Here we go again. Here we go again. Here we go again. Do you think this man has been fired?
Nope.
No, this year he got a Lifetime Achievement Award. And so that tells I was like, oh, that's right. This is all ridiculous. Let's have some fun, shall we?
Beautiful. So it's all based on him?
It's based on everyone.
Loosely based on?
No, it's some of him, some of AM radio, some sports radio, just classics. The classics.
Yeah, nice. Beautiful. Well, that'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
And then just your TV shows.
Yeah, have been paying attention's back.
This
May.
week? Next
Oh yeah,
week?
this week. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, what am I talking about? Oh shit. Yeah, this Sunday. Okay.
Monday? No, Monday?
No, we film Sunday.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, because it's only when I say we edit, we take out the things that Marty Sheargold says that will bring down the network, and then sometimes someone will say something that, like Pang in particular, would say something he knows it can't go to air, but he's just doing it to amuse himself and us. And you go, right, that was for this room and that's room only.
No, that's cool. Are they good to work with, Tom, Sam, and all the others?
Yeah, so we give each other a lot of shit only because we're friends. Everyone knows that dynamic. People are always like, oh, you give each other a lot of shit. I'm like, yes, because we've been friends for 15 years, and I love it. It's so much fun seeing them because Rob and all the other Working Dog guys are all there, and it's just the best. Just the best fun. There's no other. People are always looking for an angle every time it comes back, and I'm like, I'm sorry to keep saying it, but we genuinely like each other and enjoy doing it. There's sometimes that's what it is.
Yeah.
People just like each other and they enjoy doing it together.
Oh, that's good. And Hughesy and Aaron, they're good?
Mate, they are exactly who they are.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
It's
good.
what you see is what you get.
Awesome. Actually, and I've got one last thing, and it's for my missus, not for me.
Tell me.
How you and your partner met, Tiff?
I was doing fill-in radio with Josh on Nova.
Yep.
Gladiators was on. I saw my wife and my friend Christian. He said, "You'll marry her." I was like, "Fucking, I wish." And then she came in for an interview. I thought, got her back again. Then on the third day, she goes, "Are you going to ask me out or what?" And then I said, "All right." So I rang her, and then she's sort of been together ever since. So it's one of those stories that I don't know how people get together now.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't. I think it's so much harder because I just don't get it. I don't see how people, I've got so many single friends who are great, who want to meet someone, but it's like the weight of options are fucking killing them.
It's online. It's killed it.
It's crazy.
Mm.
Someone said to me once, a friend of mine who's, in her 20s, I said, "Are you seeing anyone?" She goes, "You know what the problem is?" I said, "No." She goes, "My potential dating pool is the entire English-speaking world." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that would take a lot to sift through."
Yeah. Oh, I suppose all the online stuff's kind of ruined it for a lot of people.
It's ruined it / made it a lot easier to be single, I think, forever, if you want to be. I've got friends, mates of mine in their 40s, they're like, "Why the fuck would I settle down?" I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. 100%.
Mm.
100%. I don't know. I've met my partner at school.
Really?
We were both at school. Yeah. Yeah, she was a year below me at school. But we got together at school and then went our separate ways for a few years. I went traveling, she went traveling, and here we are.
How long have you been together now?
8 years this year.
Oh, well, it's a very Gold Coast story.
Yeah, it is.
I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, she's a Byron girl, unfortunately, but
Oh no!
can't judge her on that.
Oh, that's devastating news.
No, it's all good.
That's cute.
Awesome. Well, anyway, it's been fun.
Thanks for your time.
No, thank you. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and all the best with everything in the future.
Hey, good luck with the sanctuary.
Thank you. One day.
Yeah, it's a great, and I'm going to go listen to Raw Talk, Full Send, and Ya Never Know.
Yes, and I will read those books. I've got them written down here somewhere.
Nice one. All right. Thanks,
All right,
Carl.
Susie,
Nice to
thank
talk. See you, mate.
Yeah, mate. Have a good one.
Bye. You too.